up, guys? Happy freaking Tuesday. Hopefully we are feeling good. Apologies about my clothes horse in the background. It's about to be fucking filled up with clean clothes. Okay, so obviously this week's topic is going to be about morning routine and how important a morning routine is and how to set one up, right? Obviously we discussed last night that a few of yous thrive in the morning and a few of yous are just surviving the mornings, okay? Now I'm not saying that by the end of these 12 weeks I'm going to make you into 5 a.m. gym girl, but I just want to highlight how beneficial it can be and it can feel to have a morning routine, that wee bit of time for yourself to start the day off rather than starting the day snoozing the alarm or starting the day rolling out of bed, not even get a time to put a brush through your hair, right? Okay, so every single week throughout the week, it's not just going to be like this is the only time we ever discuss a morning routine, but every single week we're going to discuss certain things that is going to help you build habits, stack habits, and just see things, all the wee small things, they are the most important thing, okay? So, first things first, why a morning routine matters. Now, I absolutely love doing presentations. It's something that you all know of. You will, sorry, that's my ear fire in the background. You will see over the course of the 12 weeks, as I fucking love Canva, man. I always put these wee brains are like my best friend. My only friends here in Dubai. Anyway, so why a morning routine matters. So, a big one is that it reduces stress. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but cortisol within the body, and I actually done a presentation on this, you'll be able to find it on the Facebook group, just type in like stress or type in cortisol. But a big one, a morning routine reduces stress. Now, one thing, everyone has a baseline of cortisol, like cortisol is actually good within the body, right? But when it starts to ramp up and we're like stress, that's when it's not good for the body. And one thing about a stress body is that it can become an unresponsive body. So if you're someone that is taking on a lot of stress and not actually dealing with it, things like your body's going to be inflamed, you know, sleep's going to be impacted, appetite, it just takes that rippling effect. So if you're someone who is rolling out of bed, rushing around, you know what it's like when you're rushing around, nothing's organised, you're not making yourself a priority, you're not making these things, small things, a priority, you are instantly starting your day high cortisol. And as it says, when you're high on stress, everything else around you is you're irritated by everything. It also improves your mental health. So one thing, I'm actually going to go back to that topic, the first one, right? If you're someone that has kids, now I was watching like a podcast thing this morning, if you're someone that is rushing around, you've not got yourself ready and you've also not got your kids ready, is actually, now I'm someone that does this, I will always say like hurry up. I mean, you know what it's like, getting out of the house is a fucking big task. But see, if you're constantly like pushing on your kids, being like, come on, like rush, like you're making them stressed, and you're also like, that isn't also, if you're rushing around and you're not organised, you're teaching them they kind of habits as well, and you're teaching them, what was it saying, it was like hurry up, like you're instantly putting that onto them, and also you're not teaching them to be organised, but you're kind of also teaching them about like life being on such a big rush. Do you know what I mean by that? Like we're constantly like, oh my god, like chasing the next thing kind of thing. So it kind of takes that rippling effects. Anyway, I thought I'd get that in there. It improves your mental health, so setting the tone for the day. You'll start the day in a more calmer state of mind. You're going to make room for slowness, maybe things like gratitude, journaling, slow vibes, clearer frame of mind. Now, it's something I absolutely loved, and going through my bodybuilding preps, it taught me a lot about morning routines, right? And how I fucking loved the morning routine. Like, I buzzed to go to my bed. for my morning routine. And this is how my morning routine would start. Now, I'm not saying you need to do this, by the way, but this is what I've done on a bodybuilding prep. I would get up at like 3:30. I'd go to gym for 4 o'clock to do, like, I would have a coffee quickly. I'd go to gym for 4 o'clock. I'd do an hour on the Stairmaster. I'd then stomp about Kilwinning in absolute pitch black, dark, freezingness. On my way home, I would go and get a can of Monster. Then I would be in, sit and have my can of Monster before anybody else is awake. But I just like that, and then I carried these traits on, these habits on, when I was finished my prep, when I was going into my off season, when I was going into normal like sport that I'm doing, running, whatever it may be, just normal gym life. I carried these in because having that wee time for you honestly makes a massive difference. I always say to my clients, like, fill your own cup up, and again, it's something that you'll learn throughout this time. I will always fill my cup up before I be a coach, before I be a mum, before I be a wife, before I do anything. So I'll always do something for me, whether that is something like sitting having a coffee, going out a walk, going out on my bike, going out a run, going out on a training session. I will always do one thing for me, because if I prioritise myself, it only makes me feel good, and then when I'm giving off positive energy attracts. It boosts productivity for the rest of the day. I always say a rippling effect. If you fill your own cup up, like I was saying, before you fill everyone else, like, you're going to give more to your day, and it will encourage you to make the most of your day. Now again, I'm not saying you need to go and train at 6 a.m, but getting up like 30 minutes before, doing your makeup without being in a rush, doing your hair without feeling in a rush. There's nothing worse than, you know, flinging on clothes without a thought of what you're actually wearing, because all you end up doing is feeling absolute shit. And then again, that just ripples into the rest of your day. Commitments to yourself, like making your bed, committing to these small habits, then go on to understand that you can achieve bigger things. You're already setting the discipline within your everyday life. And it also boosts physical health, so things like going for a walk, that improves vitamin D in the AM, or training in the AM promotes you to have hydration and then create an appetite, etc, etc. Examples of healthy habits. Oh, there is getting the face wash, she's washing her face, pamper. Examples of healthy habits that you can create in the AM. Going a walk, so you're increasing vitamin D. Going to the gym or a fitness class releases endorphins, so it releases the feel good energy. Waking up and prioritising things like hydration, or having a cuppa in silence, cup of tea, cup of coffee, hot chocolate, whatever it may be. Reading a book, again, like, you're just zoning into that one task where you're not thinking about anything else, you're not thinking about the million things that you need to do on that day. Simply things like just getting a shower, getting yourself ready, feeling good and taking your time to do it. It was like in the summer holidays, right? I didn't have a lot of time in the morning. I had to train very, very early, and I really didn't like it. I used to love training, I like training in the morning, but it needs to be after the school run, like 9 a.m. Whereas in the school holidays, I had to train at 5 a.m. And as much as I didn't like that, you know, I still committed to doing it because that's something that makes me feel good. However, I was quite like, you know, I had to do it within a certain period of time. But when you have a bit more time, you feel good because you're taking your time. So what I mean by this, relating that to healthy habits in the morning, taking your time to get ready and doing your hair nice, whether it's curling it, whether it's doing a slick back pony, you will honestly feel so much better than just waking up, rolling out of bed and shoving on anything and fucking running out the door. You'll have time for mindfulness, like that slow vibe, gratitude, journaling, meditation, you know, yoga, Pilates, stretching. You can do all these things in the house, and these all help you start in that zen mode, like de-stressed from the get-go. Or maybe it's having time to make a breakfast. I don't know how many times I have heard, whether it's clients now, whether it's clients that have just starting their journey when they initially start, you know, I don't have time for breakfast. Yes, you do, you're just not prioritising it. And or people be like, you know, I can't eat a hot breakfast. Yeah, you can, but you just need to train yourself to do these things, i.e. getting up earlier. And making your bed. Honestly, make your bed. It is the one small task that I recommend everyone do. Again, creates that rippling effect. One thing I always encourage, as I say, is filling your cup up first before you're a mum, an employee, a business owner, a friend, even before answering any messages. And again, this happened to me in the summer. I woke up one Monday morning and I had a message. It was quite a negative message to me on my day. That was the first thing I'd done, was turned, looked at my phone, and I think I went to training. The training session was just pure shit. I also went to run that morning as well, just couldn't do it. I had to do it later on in the day because that negativity would just drained me from the get-go. So I would always recommend doing something that's going to make you feel good, perk the endorphins up, and then regardless, you know, you've still done the things that make you feel good. How to build a morning routine, and all it is starting small. Small steps always lead the way. We do not need to overwhelm ourselves by doing 500 habits. They're the ones that are going to get you to the big ones. Now, you do not get from being a beginner to a professional athlete overnight, or for example, you don't get £0 in the bank and then have a 5-bedroom house overnight. It's the small steps, the small wages adding up over time. You're going to get there, okay? Stick with 2 habits initially and then build and progress in them. So what I mean by this is stacking habits. First of all, commit to yourself and say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and you're going to have a coffee. Do this consistently. Just these 2 things for a few days or maybe a week, and start to then stack them. So you could be like, wake up at 6 a.m, go a morning walk, and then have a coffee. Do that for a week. Wake up at 6 a.m, morning walk, hydrate first of all, then caffeinate, or you can say caffeinate and supplements. You see what I'm doing here is I'm starting with basic step. When I've nailed that step, I'm going to start to stack that and pair it together. So it's easy to have, you know, when you're boiling your kettle, making your coffee, fucking drink water, right? That's what's easy, stacking them together. And then when you've nailed that, add the supplements in. One thing I always try and do is, as I say, is avoid your phone for at least 30 minutes. Common mistakes that people make is trying too much at once. It can be overwhelming and unrealistic, so one thing at a time. Learn to stack the habits and then start to pair it. I often see clients, or I've dealt with clients in the past, and they try and do so many things at the one time. They're maybe a beginner and they start to do all these things like steps, fluids, tracking their food, hitting their protein, you know, training, cardio. It is too overwhelming. Before they know it, fuck that. That's too much, right? Start slow. It's not a fucking race. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. We are creating a lifestyle you can live, not something that's just for 12 weeks. Comparing your routine to others. Now, what works for you might not work for someone else, and this is why you need to focus on what you enjoy and what you can realistically do. Now, I know that some people might look at me and be like, oh my god, so for example, this morning I got up, went out a cycle very early on, 5 a.m, right? Some people be like, oh my god, how does she do that? Like, I can't do that. Now, that's not to say, like, that person might not be able to do that because they don't have, their partner might be night shift. I can do that because Franny's in the house sleeping at that point, Leo's in the house sleeping at that point. So that's why it's important that Jane shouldn't be jealous of my routine, because our circumstances are so different. Do you get what I mean by that? Just don't compare. It's not worth it. Another thing is some people sacrifice sleep for a morning routine. So say for example, and I've been guilty of doing this in the past, say for example you've had 4 hours sleep, but you're like so anal about that morning routine. Oh my god, I fucking love that morning routine, that's where I thrive. But you wake up in the morning, 4 hours sleep, oh my god, I feel like death, but I need to commit to that ticky box. Sometimes you need to step out of that anal vibes and actually understand what's right for you at that time. So you might wake up and be like, there's a difference between, oh my god, can't be bothered, and there's also on the other hand, Like, I am exhausted. When you are exhausted, that's when I say you have to do what's right by you, and sometimes that means having a longer lie. Sometimes it does mean giving yourself the extra 30 minutes in bed, and that's okay. So, what is the one thing that you're going to implement this week and be consistent with? That's what I want you to get back to me on. Again, we're just going to progress on these kind of topics, but hopefully you can see that basically to conclude that it's beneficial from a mental aspect, a physical aspect, but having that time to fill your own cup up, honestly, you will be a better person because you're doing something for you. There's nothing worse than feeling like your life is about making sure everybody else is okay. Whereas if you're starting your day doing something that makes you feel good, as I said, it could be anything. It could be cleaning your house, it could be having a coffee, it could be going a walk, it could be going a run, whatever it may be, training session. But doing something for you and you only will make everything, it will ripple into the rest of your life, the rest of your day, the rest of your habits. Okay, so get back to me. What is the one thing that you're going to implement this week, and what is you're going to be consistent with?